Hey, John Mayfield, the real estate tech guy. Thank you so much for joining me 2 days in a row on live streaming. We're going to go live. We're going to go over to the board and do some math. And I have all kinds of buttons that I hope are working correctly and that that you can hear me on all of these. So we're going to move over to the board right now. And I'm going to kind of go over and I'm going to bring up my little frog board. We'll try to bring that over right here. I have a couple of different cameras, so we will hope that everything can be seen and is working okay. I'm going to actually move over here now, so I've got a different camera set up here. I hope everything is functioning properly. And then also have a little camera. We'll see if this camera is over here, if that's where I'm at, and it should be working, following me over here now. I hope that, and I'm going to just see which one we're on. But we'll go over to the board and right now work on a couple of math problems. Just want to make sure that I have the right cameras set up here. So I believe that is, here we go. That should be the right camera that I want right there. And so I know where I'm at now. And then if I need to come back over to this camera, I can just switch that button there. Hey, it's live YouTube streaming and we got to have a little bit of fun, right? So we'll double check, and I'm going to make certain that I have that my camera is in all the way, and it looks like it is. Now I can go out and go right back in. How about that? Okay, the only thing I forgot to do, and I meant to do that, was to have another window so I could talk to you while I'm on the board, but that's okay. We're going to go over some math problems. One of my students yesterday said, hey John, I'm having some issues with the math, and is there any way you could help me with some of the math and go over that? So I'm going to go back over the T problem. I think it works the best. A lot of students like it. There are other ways you can work math problems, but for today and for tonight, we're going to just work with the T problem. Okay, I think I've got my, hey, I'm a one-person operation here. So when you're working math problems, and I talk about the T problem, so I'm going to just draw a T just like this. And we use and this is what I was taught years ago. I did not develop this, and I want to be very transparent about that. We have what is called a formula where we use keywords. We use a word that is part, and we use total, and we use percent. Okay, those are the items or the words you need to remember. So let's just very easily, you sell a $1 million property and you earn 3%. Commissions are always negotiable. That is a real estate exam question, and they're negotiable between brokers and agents. They're between clients and the brokerage. They're negotiable between brokers. You know, recently there was a lawsuit against the National Association of Realtors, and they tried to act like commissions are fixed. And that's the most ludicrous thing I've ever heard. And I hope that the appellate court will kick that thing as far as they can kick it out into the ocean, because commissions have always been negotiable. And we have always stressed that in the realtor community, and I always stress that in all of my classes. So Just remember that. You're going to see that on the exam question. They test you on that on the exam. And so that's why I just get so outrageous when I hear that the jury and the attorney for the plaintiffs had to say that we fix commissions, because we don't. They're negotiable. That's a test question. Every student who gets their real estate license has that question on the exam. So commissions are negotiable. You will see that on the exam, and you're not going to miss it now, okay? Because I want you to make sure you know that. So 3% commission, $1 million sale. What are we trying to solve here? You always want to, what are you trying to solve? You're trying to solve for a part, because you know the total commission is $1 million, right? And do you know the commission rate? Sure, it's 3%. Now, for the exam, I always think it's good if you can move your decimal place over 2 places. So you will have 0.03, okay? I'm going to get rid of that little 0 there. And so 0.03. Now, here's the interesting thing you need to know. There are math symbols that we need to put on our T. And this just tells us to divide. This is multiply. So the key is, wherever you have your 2 answers, you want to follow the math. So in this case, we would just take $1 million, multiply it times 0.03, and what would we get? We would get $30,000. That's your answer. So this T problem that we are going to work on will enable us to work really just about any real estate question that we need to answer for the exam. There are a couple of times we have to flip that T problem. Now, the problem is the real estate test writers want to throw a little curveball at you. They like to make it a little bit more challenging. Okay, so let's go back to the board and let's just see how we can, in fact, I'm just going to I think I can just add a new page. And let's just draw our T problem again. I'm going to make so here's our T problem. We'll use green. We need to put our math symbols on the T problem. And we need to label where our numbers will go. So this is always part, not always, there's some times we have to flip that. This is total, and this will be percent, okay? So we have total, percent, and part. So if, a classic T problem, and this, when I say part, I'm going to change this for a capitalization problem. So this is income. The total in this case would be, and by the way, this is net income. The total in this case would be value. And this would be the rate, or referred to as the cap rate, okay? So here's a classic problem they may tell you on the real estate exam. If a building is worth $200,000 if it's capped at 8%? What is it worth if it's capped at 10%? So we were looking for the value. So just to go back over this, if the building is worth $200,000, if it's capped at 8%, what would the building be worth if it's capped at 10%? Now this is a classic real estate exam question because you have to work one T problem and get an answer, and then put that answer into the second T problem to get the answer for the exam, okay? So don't panic, you can do this, but we're just gonna need to work 2 T problems. So let's go through this and see how this works. I'm going to put blue as my information here. Well, if its value is 200,000, and remember the value would come down here. If it's capped at 8%, what is it worth? Uh-oh, we don't know, right? What's it worth if it's capped at 10%? Well, what does our math tell us to do in this first T problem? It says take 200,000 times 0.08, and if we do that, we should get the net income. So I'm going to take, in this example here, I am going to take, and I hope that I'm on the bookcase, that I'm looking at you now. So I'm going to take 200,000 times 0.08, and I get $16,000, okay? $16,000. If you did not see me a minute ago, then I have a button reprogrammed incorrectly, and we'll get it fixed. But that's 16,000. Now, the question wants to know, what's it worth if it's capped at 10%? Well, remember, I said we just have to work another T problem. So now we're solving for value. Wants to know what's it worth if it's capped at 10%. So we want to move our decimal over 0.10. And do we know what the part, or the NOI, do we know what that is? Sure we do. It's $16,000, right? So we can put our $16,000 here, and now our math tells us when we have one on top and one at the bottom, and we're solving for the other bottom, our math tells us to divide, okay? And you always put the top number in your calculator first. So 16,000, that's the first item I put in my calculator. And what's the second thing I do? I press the divide button, and then the third is 0.10, and so the answer is 160,000. Now, interesting concept. We need to talk about this. So I'm going to go over to a new page, and I want you to look at this. At 8% cap rate, we talked about this yesterday on my YouTube, the value is $200,000. At 10% cap rate, the value drops by $40,000. It's only worth $160,000. So what is going on? Sounds like that that old song, What's Going On? I love that song. Who sang that? Was that Grover Washington? That wasn't Grover, it was Marvin Gaye. Yeah, What's Going On? Okay. What's going on, right? You'll be humming that song the rest of the evening, and I probably will too. But what is going on in this scenario? I mean, why is the cap rate higher that the value of the property is lower? I'm going to fix that because that just bugs me. Why is this? This is what, and this has been an exam question. There is what we call an inverse relationship between the cap rate and the value. And here's the easiest way for me to explain this. And I sure hope that this is going to work correctly. By the way, be sure and subscribe to my YouTube channel. I'd love for you to do that. Here's what you need to know about this. You're an investor, and I talked about this yesterday on the YouTube video that I did. If you pay $200,000 for that property, if you pay $200,000 for that property, you're going to get a $16,000 return on your investment. Let's take a look at it. Right here, I'm going to go back over to this right here. You paid $200,000 and you earn $16,000. That's equivalent to an 8% return on your investment. Okay? So you get, it'd be like taking your money to the bank and putting $200,000 in the bank, and the bank pays you 8% interest. You're going to earn $16,000. Now, what if you only paid $160,000 for the property, but the bank paid you $16,000? Well, naturally, it's going to be a higher interest rate, right? Because before you gave the bank, you paid $200,000 to the bank, and they gave you $16,000 in return. That's an 8% return. But now you only have to give the bank $160,000, and you get the same $16,000 return. So naturally, as we see here, your interest is actually going up. So now you're getting that same $16,000, but you're getting a 10% return on your investment. That's why we say there's an inverse relationship. The higher the value of the property, the lower the return on your investment. The lower you can, let me just say it this way, if you can buy the property cheaper for less money, you're going to get a higher return on your investment. But if you can't buy the property cheaper or less, and you have to pay more money for it, then your investment goes the other way. Well, that is the math that I wanted to do today. And I see my main camera is not on. I do not know what happened there. I'm going to try this right here. And so I will come back over here to my other camera. Might just be overload for the computer today, but that's okay. Maybe I don't need 3 cameras. I wanted to go back over there and just talk to you for a minute at my desk, but I can talk to you right here and just say the math doesn't have to be that challenging. You can do really good on the math, and we might come back and do some more live streaming a little bit later. I'm going to tweak my my buttons here on my camera. But these are examples of questions you will definitely see on the real estate examination, okay? And they like for you to go a couple deep. So sometimes they'll throw a softball at you and you just do a simple T problem and get the answer. Generally, you have to kind of think about it and say, okay, I've got to work a T problem, get my answer, and then take that answer and plug it into the T problem with the other information from the problem. When you do that, it's a no-brainer. You'll do fine, okay? Hey, John Mayfield here. I want to make sure, I think this is my ultimate real estate exam prep. I call it My Real Estate Exam Coach. I actually changed the name back because I like it better. And if you need help passing the real estate exam, just check that out. It's a great program and it will help you pass the real estate exam on the very first time. Be sure and subscribe to my YouTube channel and tell others about Global Real Estate School. We are approved in Hawaii, Washington, which we should have, just got approved in Washington. We should have all of our information up online shortly. Utah, and we have a great program, okay? I know that, and I don't ever like to talk about, I won't say that, but we have a great program in Utah, and I'd love to get some Utah brokers to use it. So anyway, call me and I'll tell you what I saw or what I found out. But we're approved in Indiana, in Oklahoma, Florida, Virginia, Missouri, where I'm from, and we work with 2 other partners in South Dakota, Kansas, where we offer courses as well. I think I missed something in there, but we want to help you pass the real estate examination and help you not only pass the exam, I want to help you be a great real estate agent. We have lots of resources on our website. If you need help with test prep in any of the other states, we can do that. We can help you with the states we're in if you need to do reciprocate your license. So if you want to get your license in another state where we are approved, we can help you with the state material and so much more. Well, I know it's dinner time and I'm trying to do more live streaming. 6 to 8 is the good time for me. I may come back after dinner and do some more. That's why you need to subscribe to my YouTube channel. I was going to hit the button again, but I won't do that. And that way, when we go live, you'll be notified. You can watch that. But hey, thanks for watching. I hope that you go out and have